I'm speaking today with Steve Promnitz, the CEO of the Australian mining company Lake Resources, which has 5 lithium projects in Argentina's lithium triangle. Hello, Steve. I hope you're safe and well.
Thank you, Fiona. Pleasure to be online.
Yes, it is. Glad to have you. Tell me, Steve, what impact has COVID-19 and the response to it had on Lake's projects?
Lake Resources is focused on lithium projects in Argentina. Our first concern, naturally, is for the health and well-being of our team and our communities, just the same as any other company. In Argentina, we're adhering to the government health guidelines, and the same in Australia. We're using social distancing and we're doing everything remotely. What's important is that exports has a key role as we come out the other side of COVID-19. And particularly lithium, which is powering a cleanable, sustainable future for both electric vehicles and energy storage, we're going to be part of that. Thankfully, we've been fortunate that the impact has been limited, both on our subsidiaries in Argentina as well as in Australia. We're used to operating remotely, so we're quite fortunate. Argentina's in quarantine, much like Australia, but the sector we're in has been declared an essential service. And so although we have reduced staffing levels, we're using the appropriate guidelines. Everybody has a specific permit. They're using PPE, personal protection equipment, and so we're following those strict safety measures. Our key focus at the moment has actually been progressing lithium brine samples through the pilot plant of our technology partner in the US called Lilac Solutions. We're using a new direct extraction ion exchange process where we can extract lithium more efficiently, more quickly, and also with a smaller environmental footprint. So that's the focus at the moment. That's been slightly delayed due to COVID-19, just like every other sector, but we're actually reducing that impact as much as possible so that we can keep going forward. So that's where we're up to. The impact has been limited, but we're using all sorts of safety methods to ensure that we can continue operating.
Okay, well that sounds in the circumstances pretty positive, really, Steve. Tell me, do you think? Can you see a way to adjust and flex for impacts and changes going forward?
Well, like everybody else, we're learning on the job. And it is difficult to forecast. Governments and individual sectors are still trying to work out where things are. As I said, we're actually fortunate as Lake Resources that we're not currently in production or actually in construction, because then you've got a very large workforce that has to be managed. We're just at a key phase where we're moving into a new detailed feasibility study with the information out of our pilot plant. And so we can actually manage this for the next sort of 6 to 9 months without too many issues. There might be some delay perhaps to getting the pilot plant on site in Argentina, but at least we're used to working remotely, and our teams are used to these sorts of activities. For the sector in full, every sector, whether it's the banking sector or it's retail or in the lithium space, we're all going to just have to adjust as the changes come on board. We're just fortunate that we're small enough and agile enough to be able to respond quickly.
So tell me, you referred to lithium contributing to the renewable energy sector. That's sort of a good side to all of this, isn't it? Because people may be more interested in pursuing renewable energy as a result of all this too.
One of the most interesting circumstances that I've seen in social media and reported on fairly widely is that in different parts of the world, whether that's in India or whether it's in New York or London, people are talking about how they can see the Himalayas from India because there's less pollution, or they can see views that they haven't seen. That actually augurs well for the wider community to actually be focused on the positive impact that mobile electrification is going to have. Furthermore, specifically within the lithium supply chain for batteries, this the COVID-19 impact has actually magnified the current situation about the lack of new supply coming online and the lack of investment in that new supply coming online. So we will have a hiatus, and I'm not certain what that is on the supply and demand side for 6 or 9 months. But then it's going to become so important that that lack of investment is going to have an increasing shortage of the supply of the battery grade, high purity lithium that automakers and battery makers need. That's what Lake is focused on, getting that high purity lithium that's suitable for the batteries that go into electric vehicles and for battery storage. That's what we're focused on. We're going to get our samples out of our pilot plant to demonstrate that, get that off to the off-takers, and then move into the next phase of studies so that we can get this thing into operation as soon as we possibly can. And I think we're well positioned just because not only the market needs renewables and needs electrification, but those batteries need high purity product that can be produced. We've got a system here together with Lilac where we can do that and actually have a smaller environmental footprint and perhaps be one of the few producers that can produce not just high purity product, but one that's got a sustainability benefit as well.
That's really good to hear, Steve. Thank you. So to sum up for your investors, what would you say, summing up?
Well, COVID-19, naturally our first concern is for the health and well-being of our team and the communities. Right, so we're doing that. We're adhering to government health guidelines, both in Argentina and in Australia, to ensure that we're doing the right thing, but we're not losing 6 or 9 months. But on top of that, the project we have in Argentina is actually probably going to support the economic recovery in Argentina because we're focused on exports. That's what Argentina wants to see, more exports, at the same time as contributing to a sustainable future. And we're fortunate that COVID-19 hasn't held us back much, perhaps, the matter of a few weeks, a couple of months. But we're still pressing on because our focus is on getting a sustainable product out in 2 years' time, not the next 6 to 9 months. And so I think we're going to be well positioned. There's a lot of news coming down the pipe, our pre-feasibility study, further studies, getting samples into off-takers' hands. So I think we're well positioned. And I think we could actually be one of the few sectors to perform well looking forward. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Steve. I hope you can speak again in a few months' time down the track.